from Michigan State University Extension, and I just thought that I would do a video on protecting your horse from insects, because I don't know about you guys, but it seems like all the bugs have woken up in the last week in Michigan, and they're really kind of bothering our horses. So what I'm going to talk to you about today in the next 5 or 10 minutes is just all the different stuff that you can do to protect your horse. This is one of our horses, Patty, and Patty's wearing a pretty typical outfit for one of our horses during the summer. So he has a fly mask on as well as a fly sheet. We actually have several different horses here, and we're going to talk about each of their individual needs because they are individuals. So some horses don't necessarily need protection at all, but some horses definitely are more reactive to insects, and therefore we provide them some more protection so that they stay comfortable. So I'm probably going to let Patty go, but he's kind of an inquisitive guy, so he might visit us throughout this video. But we'll talk about all the stuff he's wearing. But first, I'm going to talk about some products. So let's go over here. You coming with or not? All right. Okay, so certainly probably the most common form. Are you going to make that noise too loud? Go eat somewhere. Is she going to push on the gate? Come on. Okay, no more pushing on the noisy gate, hopefully. Okay, so probably the most common form of insect protection that you're used to is fly spray, right? Who uses fly spray? Anybody? Yes, exactly. Olivia holding the phone uses fly spray. I just grabbed a few out of our tack room. We have a variety of types. Everybody kind of finds their favorite. So these are all just different spray types. Some are water-based. This is a oil-based spray. Again, you want to make sure that you pick your favorite. Some horses react to some, don't love, their skin doesn't like them necessarily. I have found that the oil-based sprays typically last a whole lot longer and they stay in the horse's hair, so you don't necessarily have to apply it every day. There are some others that aren't as long-lasting and may not work as well, but here are just a few different types that we have. I don't necessarily have a specific brand that I recommend. I say try them out and see what works best for you. But I will say that if you're showing or something, an oil-based fly spray is not ideal because it will attract all of the dust and dirt from a horse show. So we use those at home during the week, but when we go to horse shows, we will typically use a water-based formula. There are also aerosol sprays, and those can work really, really well in addition to these types of manual sprayers. So again, whatever works well for you, test them out. Certainly pay attention, make sure your horse doesn't have a reaction or that you don't have a reaction to any of the products that you use. Let's see, what else do we... Sometimes it's also a really great idea to get the refillable kind. So this is a concentrated version that I think it's a 7-to-1 ratio. So you dilute this out and you get a ton of these sprayers full. So that's a real economic solution there, even though buying this at once may seem a little bit pricey. You can easily spend anywhere between $10 and $30 for just one of these sprays. So it does add up, especially if you have multiple horses like I do. What are some other things? We're going to talk about SWAT in a minute. SWAT is an ointment that you apply to certain areas of the horse, and we're going to talk about why you might apply that because we do use it on a few of the horses here. I also have some sunscreens that I'll talk about why I have sunscreen here. And then let's hop down here to a couple other products that we have. I'm not necessarily recommending this product. I will just say this, I have used a product like this for the last couple summers. And what it is it is a pellet that the horse eats daily during the insect season. And it has a bunch of stuff in it that basically makes them less palatable to insects, okay? And hopefully decreases their reactivity. So what this one has, and it has things like apple cider vinegar, garlic, brewer's yeast. Let's see if there's anything else worth mentioning. That's pretty much it. It does have all of the ingredients on the back, of course. Corn distiller's grain, fenugreek seed, all sorts of stuff. And let me tell you guys, it's really stinky. But I haven't had a horse that refuses to eat it yet. And it really does seem, and this and similar products really do seem to help them not get bit up so much. Because just like humans, it seems like some of us just smell better to the bugs than others. And the same thing with some of my horses. Some just seem to get more bitten up and they're more reactive to the insects. So something like that, a product can really help. I also have some of these, and there are other similar products as well, but we hang in the really high traffic areas, maybe where there's a manure bucket or something like that. And you hang this up and it collects flies. So something like this can even help with insect control. All sorts of different things. But these are just some things that we do here at my farm. All right, let's go visit Mr. Skip over here who is sneezing for us. I'm gonna grab some products that Skip needs. Let's go. Hi, Skip. You're not in trouble. Hello, sir. Okay, so Skip here has a fly sheet. A couple things about the fly sheet. His does not have a neck piece. We do have a different horse in a little bit that has a neck piece like Patty did. And so if they seem to really be getting bit up on their neck, you might want to have an additional protection there. But this is just like a normal sheet. You can see that it's light in color, which is very important. So you do have to have like a balance here. I would prefer horses to be naked in beautiful weather like this, but I know a couple of my guys, if they were naked, they would come in with hives all over their body and what have you. So I have found that it's worth the protection. However, I don't just put a regular sheet on them. The fabric, I don't know if you can zoom in, Olivia, the fabric on these sheets are breathable. So this is a woven and it's open, and so the breeze can get through it, and this is still breathable, so he won't get too hot. The color is also very important. You don't want to necessarily put a dark sheet on them, okay? Because that's just going to absorb sunlight and they're going to be so much hotter. That's not good, right? There's also some that have different patterns on them that they researchers, or at least the brand selling them, say that research shows that they actually are less attractive to flies and insects. So there are some that are actually like zebra stripes. When we visit with Ozzy in a minute, he has a colorful one. It's still light colors, but they say that it's supposed to help. So you never know. These fly sheets, if you're wondering cost-wise, they typically range somewhere between $50 and $150, depending on how many bells and whistles you have on them. But this works really good for Skip. What's kind of interesting is, like I said, there's individual differences in how much protection a horse or a pony needs. Our show horses typically tend to be thinner skinned. We don't really select when we're deciding who to breed to for insect resistance, right? We select for trainability and quality of movement, and sometimes those sorts of things don't line up with insect resistance. So we have some of our ponies that seem to be just thicker skinned. They have a thicker coat of hair. They don't seem to be bothered at all by the bugs, so they need very little fly protection. But some of our show horses are just higher maintenance, and because of their reactivity, we protect them. Another reason why you might want to have something like this on a horse, we'll look at Ozzy in a minute. Ozzy's almost black, and we want to keep his hair that way. So it will provide sun protection so he doesn't get sun faded and kind of that ugly burnt hair look. We don't want that, okay? So what else Skip needs? So Skip, we'll look at his handsome mug over here. He needs a fly mask that can protect him from the insects, sure, although you'll notice in his ears, we don't have his ears clipped really tight because that hair in there really is like the best protection against flies, okay? But sometimes with our show horses, what do? We trim that hair all off. If you trim that hair off, you have to be providing extra insect protection, or it's just not really fair to that horse. So if your horse didn't have hair in their ears, you can put this ointment, SWAT ointment. I'm sure there's something similar, but this is definitely the tried and true brand. So we can talk about where we put that in just a minute, but that's going to provide long-lasting protection. This is like a sticky glue. I'm not sure if you can see it. So it comes in a couple different colors too, but we'll put that on a horse in a minute that will need it. Skip isn't going to necessarily need it because he has hair in his ears. But what Skip does need is this fly mask protects him from the sun, okay? A lot of these fly materials also have UV protection, and he will get this cute little pink nose really sunburnt if we don't have this on. So he'll wear this, You can also try to use an actual sunscreen. I don't think that he would probably love this aerosol spray. He doesn't really like stuff on his face anyway. But I found this little deodorant type stick to work really well. We'll see if he lets me do it because, like I said, he doesn't really like stuff on his face, does he, Olivia?
No.
No. But we'll see if we can sneak him into it. Hi, sir. Don't get mad at me. You're okay. Good boy. So you can put this on the areas that you're not sure the fly mask will cover. I'm not going to put this around his eyes and stuff. What happens when you sweat and the sunscreen gets in your eyes? It does not feel good. Same with horses. So we also provide Skip with a long nose fly mask that will give him that extra protection on his pink nose. Something else I wanted to show you guys here, if you could zoom in, Olivia. They will often collect dirt and mud from the condensation from their breathing and their nostrils. You want to either spray that off when you take it off at night. So our horses come in at night and we take off their fly masks and halters and such. And you want to make sure this is clean, especially around the eye areas. So if they roll, his is pretty dang clean, but if they roll and there's like mud caked here, you don't want to put that by their eye. They can definitely get that dirt build up in their eyes and it can be problematic. Do not leave these on for several days in a row without checking your horse. You need to make sure that you see that their eyes aren't swollen or scratched or runny or anything. Like, you need to put your eyes on their eyes every day, okay? So we just put these on when they are outside. It is really important to me and our horses that they get turnout every day as long as we can. So they go outside all the daylight hours, and we have several horses that stay outside all day, but they still need to have their fly mask checked. Hi, should I put his fly mask on? Okay, I'm gonna put it over his halter, but when he actually goes out to the turnout, we will put it on without a halter, and then we leave his halter off. But I'm not gonna do that, guys, because we're actually in my front yard right now, and if he decided to skedaddle, we're gonna be chasing him down the road, so that would not be good. Hi, sir. All right, Skip's a little bit weird, so I have to go on the other side so that he doesn't flip his head. See, he's a perfect gentleman when you do it on the correct side. We also use a Sharpie to write on each of these fly masks whose is whose, because we have so many in our barn. We don't want to get them mixed up. Some other places you might want to put SWAT. We talked about in the ears if they're clipped, but I'll tell you other places that they really seem to get bitten up a lot. Under the jowl, okay, so you might want to put it there if your fly mask doesn't protect or if they're not wearing one. Right in the front of the chest, right in their pectoral V, they seem to get bit up more. Skip doesn't really have any, so I'm not too worried about it. And then right in front of their sheath on their belly is another place. So those are all common places that I put the SWAT. All right, let's go see another horse. Want to bring us your pony? Guys, they make these in all sizes, okay? So she has a very similar fly mask to Skip. She's like, give me that grass. Okay, that's good. That's good, good. It just doesn't have the nose piece, okay? So we'll put this on her. And then you can see there's a hole between the ears. That's for the forelock to come out so it's not stuck in there and in their eyes or anything. And again, we put this under the halter and take the halter off when she actually goes outside. And you'll have some horses that figure out how to pull these off. She's one of them. So she doesn't typically wear hers all day. But we wanted to show you that they come in all sizes, okay? Again, we have not clipped her ears or her muzzle or anything, so all of those extra hairs are already the perfect protection from flies, so she doesn't need SWAT. But if we noticed that she was getting bit up in some of those common areas, we could put SWAT on them. Is that good, bud? Thanks for your help. All right, go ahead, you can go back to letting her eat over there, and we will look at Ozzy. A couple more types of fly masks I want to show you. So I borrowed this from one of our boarders who uses these, and I have used these for Ozzy as well. So these are like a lycra material kind of a spandexy material. We'll put it on Ozzy so that you can kind of see how it looks. And they work really well, but I have a couple things I don't like about it. So I trust that Ozzy's not going to leave us, so we'll take this halter off. Go ahead and put that around his neck. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so here's how you put these on. Excuse me, sir. Oh my goodness, okay. You just slide their nose in it. That is not right, Taylor. Get with the program. There we go. And then you put their ears in it. There's no hole for the forelock to come out. And if you have a horse like Ozzy, who has a big old beautiful forelock, it can be kind of problematic. Okay, so these might be a little more difficult for the horses to get off, although they still can. But the one thing I personally don't love about this, depending on the shape of your horse's head or their eyes, is that this mesh piece is really close to their eyes. I kind of wish it was more of like a hard bubble that stuck out, because I don't want this rubbing on their eyelashes or anything. But otherwise, it works pretty good. Now I'll show you Ozzy's actual fly mask. Now Ozzy hasn't been clipped up. However, he is by far my most reactive horse to the insects. So he gets all the protection. If I could put him in a bubble, I would do it. Okay, so we will put these on and take his forelock out. You want to finish doing that up, bud? And then Ozzy also gets a fly sheet and SWAT. And I'll show you why in just a second. So even with all this fly protection, Ozzy, he's 27. So typically with more advanced age, any sort of allergic reaction is going to intensify with age, or at least that's what's happened with Ozzy and what my vet has said is probably likely to continue. So insects is one of them. And so you'll see here, this is just like a simple bite that turned into an oozing sore. Obviously we don't want to pick that, because when it's an open wound, it's just that much more desirable to insects. You can see he has some remnants of some old hives here. Again, they just tear him up, even with all this protection on. So he has to get the works. Sometimes he even has to get some medication if he's having a really bad day, some steroids to help him. He also has a neck piece on his fly sheet. Put this on, and the colors of this fly sheet are said to help deter bugs from biting. You do want to make sure that this fits them appropriately. Take it off every day or every couple days, and make sure it's not like rubbing their shoulders, the hair off or something like that will just cause more uncomfortableness. You can see how his fly sheet actually has a belly band, so it's going to provide more protection there, and it goes down partially on his legs to, again, just provide more protection. And certainly you want to make sure that they can move their tail around. This is an awesome insect repellent to swat away flies. Let's see, is there anything else we didn't talk about? Let's put some SWAT on Ozzy. So Ozzy gets mostly bit up under the jowl. So we're gonna just put some there. It takes very little. You can see how much I have on my hand. And we'll put it under there. And if your horse had any open wounds, oh look, see it itches. He's kind of leaning into that because the bug bites itch. They definitely do for Oz. We'll give him some of that hair back, okay? And then I'm gonna put it on this wound because I definitely wanna make sure that they don't bite at it again, okay? Let's see how his chest is doing. He does have some little scabs in his chest, so I will put some SWAT there as well. And what's the other place, guys? Do you remember? In front of their sheath and on their sheath, they may need some protection. Make sure that your horse is okay with this, because you're back by the back legs, and he's okay, Red. Certainly don't want to get kicked. And it seems kind of like right near like where their navel is, they will get bit up. So a lot of places that just have a lot of blood vessels seem to be extra tasty for the insects. So have there been any questions on there, Olivia, as we went?
No.
No? Probably early, but hopefully everybody's up. Red, you have a question? Anything we forgot?
Make sure you don't put this too tight so it doesn't
Yeah, so that's a great point. So I see a lot of people putting, Ozzy's doesn't necessarily tighten a whole lot, but go ahead and lift his head up. Don't make this part too tight when you fasten it on your horse, because when they do reach down to eat or graze or what have you, go ahead if he'll do it. It tightens up a lot and you don't want it to pull on their neck. So yeah, that's a great point, Red. Make sure to just keep checking them, make sure that they're not getting rubbed raw from any of the stuff that they're wearing. And if you have someone like Jazzy, I don't know where she's left us, she's over there eating. That pony does really well without any protection. The only reason she wears that fly mask is because my daughter thinks it's super cute, but she normally will pull it off within an hour, and that's fine. And we have another pony that's very similar. Her ears are not clipped, her muzzle's not clipped, and the bugs don't really seem to bother her. But some, of course, our high maintenance show horses seem to just get tore up, they get hives, all sorts of things. And so we want to keep them comfortable. This will also protect them again from the sun. It'll protect them from little nicks and cuts that we don't want to see in the shell ring. And it's become part of our summer routine. So I hope that was helpful, guys, and gave you some different ideas to do to protect from insects, and have a lovely summer day.